Hey, Facebook, welcome. Hey, I'm Mercedes. If you don't know me, this is my page. Welcome. And we talk about all sorts of stuff here. A lot of things, faith, family, freedom, fun stuff, all sorts of stuff. So today's post is really more geared towards family. Some of you might know I have a kid. She's 11 years old. She's fantastic, light of my world. And she is like, every other kid right now watching Disney Plus, turning on the new movie, Turning Red. And let's just say no to Turning Red. Let's just open up. I'm going to go for it. A lot of mixed reviews. But I'm here to give the update for the parents and the grandparents of just say no to Turning Red. And so she had snuck it in. She had some girlfriends over the other night. And I was out of town. And they all wanted to watch the movie, the Turning Red movie. And so she ended up watching it. And so I'd come back from being out of town and she was really excited to watch it with me. She's like, I really want to watch it with you. And I really think you're going to totally agree with the mom at the beginning of the movie. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'm watching it, and there's just some major red flags. This is supposed to be a movie about a girl, 13-year-old girl who's like coming of age. She's finding herself. But there are really, I think dangerous undertones to the movie. And so I've seen so many mixed reviews. I saw, I'm in a couple different Disney groups and, somebody put in there like, it was awful. And then all these people who are turning it into a racial issue of, oh, well, you're racist if you don't like this movie. And you're like, what the heck? How did that even get in there? But the real problem, in my opinion, there's a couple, and I'm going to go in order of what my problems are with this movie. The first and most predominant one is that the little girl, I believe about three times in the movie, slaps herself in the face. And why or how that adds to the storyline. Anytime she's overwhelmed or she's upset with herself or upset with the situation, she's angry and then she slaps herself in the face. And I mean, what is the point of adding that to the movie? So first and foremost, there is absolutely no reason Disney should be promoting young girls harming themselves, self-harm in a state of overwhelm. I mean, it's not like we didn't have an epidemic of young girls trying to cut themselves when I was growing up. And so we're modeling behavior. You're going to model that behavior to younger children. Kids who are, let's say a target demo is between, 11 and up, 11 to 13, 11 to 18. You're going to model in a cartoon a child hitting themselves in the face when they're overwhelmed or mad at themselves? Are you serious, Disney? Like, I don't care what political persuasion you are. I don't care what your background is, what religious belief you have. The idea that Pixar would put into a movie a child slapping themselves in the face and modeling that behavior as normal to other kids is wrong. It's never called out as wrong. It's never, no one ever says, hey, don't do that. There's nothing redeeming about it in any way, shape, or form. So for me, right out of the bat, that is just the most blatantly wrong thing that I can't even imagine that getting through an editing crew. I can't imagine that getting through any type of editing team. So that's number one reason just to skip Turning Red, the idea of modeling to young children slapping yourself in the face when you're upset or you're overwhelmed. Okay, that's the first one. That's the most frustrated one I have. The second thing, the whole plot of the movie, the entire plot of the movie, it's supposed to be this idea of coming of age, right? And people liken the fact that she turns into a red panda, that, it's supposed to be like her monthly cycle. It's supposed to be like her being on her period, but it's not, because literally they talk about the period scenario, like, is it that time? And she's like, yeah, it is. But really it's the fact that she turns into a giant red panda. And so the whole plot of the movie, even within the first couple of opening sentences, it kind of talks about, how you're kind of taught to be, she's always been the perfect child. She's always gotten the A's and, she's always been there for her family and all these different things. And so, but then it's like the second or the third line, but it's something along the lines of, but if you continue to put other people first, or if you continue to kind of do the things other people want you to do, you risk like not knowing your true self. And so the whole movie is all about her discovering her true self through the means of lying and deceiving her parents. And it's I mean, throughout the whole movie, she hides this from her mom, and her mom is like some over the top kind of controlling type of a mother. Is coming from a good place, but it's just overwhelming at times for her. And so but she lies to her constantly throughout the movie. And the undertone is, you really can't trust your parents to help you discover who your true self is. That really discovering your true self is a journey that you have to push your parents aside, push them away, lie to them in order for you to find your authentic self. That is also, I mean, that is literally the plot of the movie. There's no other plot other than that plot of lying and deceiving her parents, and through that process, she finds herself, which is just, listen, if you had really bad parents, okay, maybe. But a majority of parents out there, even though they don't do it right 24/7, their one goal in life is to make sure that you turn into a loved, well-functioning member of society, a productive person, whole, filled. Like, that is every parent's objective, right? And maybe we don't do it the right way, but why there would be an entire movie geared towards, it's like my daughter, because I watched it with her and then we talked about it after, but my daughter goes, well, at least in this movie, both of the parents were alive. I'm like, that's the one redeeming quality, is no parent dies in this film. It's just, but the opposite is like, just push the parents away. And my friend group is my inner circle. My friend group is the group that really knows me, not possibly my parents who have cared for me since the day I was born, who have like held me when I was sick. It couldn't possibly be my parents. No, it's my friend group. And so anyways, so that's a theme that's really bothersome. So she has this panda experience that gets kind of out of control anytime her emotions get out of control, she becomes a panda. And so the way that she learns to control this feeling is she imagines her friends comforting her. And she literally lies to her parents because she figures out how to control the panda. And she lies to her parents, and they kind of test it to see if she could go out or not, because, well, obviously you don't want her to turn into a panda out on the street randomly. And so she goes, well, I just think of the people that I love the most, and that controls the panda. And the mom goes, you think of your dad and I? And she's like, yes. Again, lying directly to her parents, but it's her friend group. It's her 13-year-old friend group that allows her to control herself. It's her friend group that really knows her authentic self. And you're like, what are we even talking about? I mean, listen, I had girlfriends when I was 13. We liked, because there's like a boy band they all want to go see. We all liked a boy band. But can I tell you something? Those friends of mine are not ride or die. We might be Facebook friend acquaintances, right? At this point, you're like, hey, oh, you got a kid too, and I got a kid. Your kids are so cute. Like. I mean, that's the extent of my relationship. Do you know who is ride or die? My mother, my aunt, my family. And so it's just like, it's so weird to embed into a young mind, into very young, impressionable minds, that, you know what, it's really your friend group who really gets you. Couldn't possibly your parents who have given you everything in your life and who love you to the ends of the earth. It's just, and then the idea of self-harm. So in order, we're going in order. Now I'm going to throw in my religious perspective, my Christian perspective, okay? The panda experience is actually, it's a spirit that comes inside of her. It's all right there in the movie. It's in the movie. It's a spirit that comes inside of her. And I mean, it's a spirit. There's no way around it. Like, I watched it with my daughter, who understands how, her father and I are both, Christians. We both work in ministry. We talk about the demonic. We've seen the demonic. She's seen that type of stuff. So she has an awareness to it. And so as I'm watching it, I'm like, babe, like, there's no other way around it. It's a spirit that's coming inside of her. And not only that, so the rest of the plot of this movie, so hashtag spoilers if you're gonna go watch it, but all of the women in the family have this panda spirit, and what they end up doing is they capture the spirit, they remove the spirit from the person, and they put it into like a bracelet or a necklace or something like that, so that the spirit can't get out. And so the whole point of this movie is that she has to control her panda for like 30 days until the next red blood moon. And then once that happens, they literally do they draw a circle on the ground. They start chanting, and then that releases. At that moment, all of them have to make a choice to either leave, like she passes through a mirror, so she goes through, and then the panda separates. Okay, so everybody else makes this decision, but she decides, after living with the panda for like 30 days, and she's like this whole new version of herself, she decides that she wants to keep the panda inside of her. She wants to keep the spirit inside of her. And you see it right at the end, like right at the very end, her mom passes through, because they all have to let the pandas out to save each other. So they all let the pandas out, and then they all make this decision to put the panda back away, but the girl decides to keep it. And there's like a mirror. So the girl's on this side and the mom's on this side, and she's like, May, come through. And she's like, no, I want to keep it. I want to keep my panda. And she goes, but I'm worried that it's going to separate me from you. And like the mom's like, yeah, me too. You know, it's just so strange. It's so strange. So it's like, I'm going to give you, it's like public service announcement. Just say no to Turning Red. I would not watch it with a child under probably the age of like 11 or 12, and they have to probably be a very developed 11 or 12 to sit and have the conversation with them afterwards, and to say, well, what did you think about when she hit herself in the face? You know, did you notice that? And I was talking to my daughter, she's like, yeah, I thought that was really strange, you know. And then to have the conversation, but that's not normal behavior. You shouldn't do that. If you feel overwhelmed, there's other ways to let that stress and that anger out, right? And then to have the conversation to say, you know, mommy and daddy love you very much. Mommy and daddy only want what's best for you. And can you see how this movie is pushing children away from trusting their mom and dad, and to trust their friend group, and then to have that conversation that says, I'm so happy that you're developing friends and you have girlfriends. I think that's so great. But can I just let you know, at the end of the day, you're probably not going to talk to these people 7 years from now, 5 years from now. But do you know who will be here? Mommy and daddy, Grammy, your family, she will all be here. But these friends, these 13-year-old friends that you're like totally giving your life up for, they're probably not going to be here, you know. And then to have the conversation about the demonic and the idea, it's like the idea, just think of like the neurolinguistic programming and the embedded commands of inviting a spirit inside of you that gives you power, gives you a different personality, and then you agreeing to keep it in there. And then the lie, see, they don't tell you this part, that when you do that, they tell you that you can control it. There's a way to control it. But that's just a lie. Let me just let you know right now. That's a flat out lie, because that spirit will come inside of you and you won't be able to control it. Apart from Jesus delivering you from that spirit, you will not be able to control it. So anyways, I just had to get it off my chest. I wanted to do a short video, just so you guys, you could go watch it if you want to watch it. But I would encourage you too, that if your kids have already watched it, please go and watch it, and then go over those points with them. Like, we have to talk to them about this stuff, because they listen passively, right? They're taking in content passively, but what we've learned is you can't do that, and especially with Disney, you really can't. And so it kind of snuck under the wire while I was out of town, and then she was so excited to share it with me, because she loves, you know, like animals, and so the idea of like, oh wow, like she could turn into an animal, like she thinks that that's so cool. And my daughter, when I say she sees her little girlfriend circle that she's really for the first time getting this year, you know, she sees similarities in that. So anyways, that's the intriguing, fun part of the movie. But there's so many embedded concepts and ideas and honestly modeled behavior that you've got to address overtly, because it's going in passively, but you got to call it out and say, okay, I can appreciate, you know, I mean, Ariel's the same way. Ariel's got weird tones to it too. I grew up with that. So it's like, watch the movie, but we have to talk about it. But I would not recommend this movie at all. I would not, if they're younger than probably 12, just don't even watch it. Just don't. It's not worth it. I mean, you can't even have a conversation with a child under 12 about something like that. So it just ends up going in passively. Anyways, okay, I got to go back into the studio. Got to record. I saw somebody said, I love your nails. Thank you. They're Eastery nails. Hey. All right, cool. All right, guys, be blessed. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.